record this now. Awesome.
Perfect. Okay, great. Thank you, everyone. So first, I'd like to talk to you all about what these request forms actually are. So they are intelligent forms built into our broker portal where you can submit your servicing requests. By submitting through these forms, we can ensure that we're asking for all of the information we need to process your request upfront, meaning we can process your requests quicker than ever with no back and forth. Here we have a couple of screenshots just to give you a peek into what these forms look like. You're first asked exactly what we can help you with, and then based on what you choose, the form will populate additional questions, but we will go into much more detail throughout this presentation. Awesome. And so why should you use Help Center request forms? So they aim to eliminate any back and forth between Attune, you, and your insured. Compared to emailed requests, our intelligent Help Center request forms will make sure we're asking for 100% of that information we need on the first contact that you make with us. By asking for that info upfront, we can minimize the back and forth emails that I'm sure a majority of you have had to deal with before. So with these forms, we can provide shorter processing times to give you your time back and faster turnaround times that will keep your clients happier. On this slide, we also have another snippet of our form showing all the information we would need for a specific additional insured request. So on this one, after selecting add an additional insured, you can then enter the additional insured's name and address, and then you'll be prompted to select the specific type of AI from a drop-down list. So for this screenshot here, we have selected loss payable, and our form has automatically populated an additional question asking if you're looking for paragraph A, B, or C, which is specific to that type of additional insured. Plus, if you aren't positive about either what type you're looking for or how to answer those more detailed nitty-gritty questions, we include links to our actual help center where you can get that additional information you might need and any answers to frequently asked questions. And I'll go to the next slide, Seth. Perfect. And staying on additional insureds here, just to show you the difference in time saving these forms can truly make, I've pulled two examples of very similar requests to compare an emailed request to a Help Center request form. So on the left, we have an emailed request from a few months ago to add an additional insured. So this was from Saturday, August 7th. On the next business day, Monday, August 9th, is when we followed up for additional information. So in this specific scenario, we didn't have the type of additional insured that needed to be added. We then received all the information we needed to process on August 12th, and then we were able to send the completed endorsement on August 13th. So in total, just because of that back and forth and not getting all of the information up front, this request to add an additional insured took about 5 days to resolve. In comparison, we have a timeline from a Help Center request form on the right. So this was also a request to add an additional insured. We received the request just before 11 a.m. Eastern time on October 28th, and we sent the completed endorsement just before 5 p.m. Eastern time on that same day. Because we were able to request all of the necessary info right up front through our Help Center request form, this endorsement only took about 6 hours for us to resolve. At this time, while we can't guarantee a 6-hour resolution time, we do hope to get there soon. And I think the Help Center request forms are the first step in helping us achieve that. We'll go to the next slide, please.
Awesome. I just want to make sure we answer Paul's question of where we would find all the Accord forms. Claire, do you know?
So I believe we have a list of each additional insured form we offer within our guidelines and within our actual help center. I'm not positive if we have the specific forms in there that go into detail on the actual additional insured or just the names and then the form number.
Yeah, typically with any Accord forms, if there's a specific one that you're looking for, you can reach out to your rep and we'll get that internally for you. And specifically, if it's like for, a state in particular, then we'll make sure that you get the right form.
Yeah, and I just want to kind of jump off that as well. Maybe I was misinterpreting your question, Paul, but you don't necessarily need to submit an ACORD form if you're using these help center request forms. That's going to we want to kind of eliminate any, 10-page long ACORD forms that people have to fill out. So this will be much easier than that. So you don't necessarily need an ACORD form to make these submissions, and we'll show you how to find these forms in just a moment.
Awesome. Okay, perfect. Now that you have seen the impact that these request forms can make on saving you time, where can you find them? So they are located directly in our broker portal. If you click on the support tab, which has the little gear icon, it'll bring you directly to the Help Center request forms, which you can see in this top picture up here. We've also made it so the request forms are accessible without login credentials. So that can be really helpful if someone at your agency might not have login credentials for our portal, but they're still responsible for servicing. We also have the forms linked in a few different places. So for example, we have them linked in every account's billing page. And as Morgan mentioned earlier, we'll be sending out a recording of this webinar along with some e-pamphlets to anyone who registered for the webinar. So you'll have that link readily available. So just keep an eye on your inbox for that. And if we could hit the next slide, please.
Sorry, it takes a little minute to respond. Okay.
Perfect, thank you. All right, so with these request forms, there is no longer any need to email help at Attune. You can save time by skipping straight to the Help Center request forms to submit all of your requests that you would normally email. If we do receive an email at help at Attune, our team will respond to redirect the request to the appropriate form. And we're guaranteeing a 1 business day SLA for all requests that come in through the Help Center request forms.
Yeah, so I know some of my brokers are in the room right now, and I've told you guys like a few times that this would be going away. So now it's official. Like, let's get very familiar with the Help Center moving forward. So that way we get those responses out to you and there's no delays in getting your requests answered.
Perfect. So you might be asking yourself, what exactly can you use these forms for? In short, everything, right? So from questions that are related specific to your agency, like commission questions, to anything pre-bind or post-bind, we have a form for everything that you would normally submit via email. The forms are also searchable, so you can find the exact form you're looking for by typing in a keyword. For example, over here in this screenshot, I typed in cancel. And so I'm able to pull forms like request cancellation or confirm cancellation just by doing that. Each inquiry type also has a general other form option. If you aren't able to find the specific form you need, you can use that one and just make sure you have the policy number handy when you're submitting that request. And then I think the next slide will show a little demo.
Looks like it's my turn. Okay, one moment. See if I can do what I did earlier and drag this window all the way up. Is that popping up on the screen?
Yep.
Okay, so this link that's at the top will be sent out like Claire had mentioned earlier. And it's also available when you go into the portal under the support tab in the Help Center section. So to access this page, you actually don't need to log in at all, but which makes it super easy, but you'll be able to access it in a couple different ways. So let's actually take an example together of adding a new location. So in here, you can either search that request, or you can go into policy and then go into endorsements. And then we're going to add or update a location. So in here, you have to make sure you have a couple of different items. The effective date, which we're going to push out to tomorrow's date. We are looking to add a location here. Now, the account number is optional, but the policy number isn't. Let me just grab a quick policy number and copying it here. Give me one moment. Let's see. This will copy. Okay. And then we are going to put in the business address as 123 William Street. We'll add some employees here. If this was a restaurant, we would require the annual revenue to be added. If this was a contractor, we would require annual payroll. For this example, we're going to go with the interest being the tenant, which will populate additional fields. So we're going to set the BPP limit here at 150K. The construction type we'll name as frame construction. The square footage we'll put as 5,000. And the number of stories we'll do 2. And the year built, I'm actually going to choose 1999 because it's a little older, which will populate additional questions, right? To make sure that some updates have been made to that building. So we are going to say that the roof has been updated, the electrical, plumbing, and HVAC is updated, and the sprinkler system. And then we have to add an explanation as to why. Typically, they're opening another location. And has there been any change to the organizational structure? We're going to say no. The cool thing about the Help Center is you can drag and drop. I don't believe there's a limit as to like the file size, but if you do run into that issue, let us know. But you can drag and drop a file here for anything that's going to supplement the adding of the location. And then just make sure you have your email address in here. So that way, this is how it's going to be tracked. This is how you're going to be notified by our team. So if there's a typo in here, it's not going to go to the right person. Or if you feel like this is going to be another rep that's going to handle this particular request, you should put their email in there. One thing I actually didn't know is if we can put multiple emails in this section. Are we only allowed to put one email here, Allison, or is it just, or can we put multiple here?
For now, it's just one email address, but yeah.
Awesome. All right, so I'm going to hit submit on the request. And it's going to generate this generic message of allowing us 48 hours to respond. Now, because we're using this as an enhancement and we're steering away from Help at a Tune, we really want to respond to this within 24 hours. And the guarantee is to have that responded to by someone on our team within that time frame, and then having it resolved within a couple of days. So you shouldn't see that lag anymore of 5 days or a week if you've been experiencing that before, as long as we are using these forms. You should also have an email follow-up right after this saying that we've received it. But other than that, the team will take it from here. And then should you not get an answer within that 48-hour window, that's when you would go to your rep, like myself, an account manager, or one of the sales reps, and they'll be able to reach out internally on your behalf to figure out where that ticket is or what's happening. So I'm going to minimize this window. I think there is a question in the chat. Let's see. If I need to change the name of the insured, do I have to rewrite the policy? They are the same owner, just changing the name. So all of those types of changes are going to happen on the endorsement screen, like I mentioned. We can go back actually. And there's an option for other. If there is something that you don't see here, you can always select other, place the account number or policy number, and include that message. And then our team will get back to you on that particular request. And then Cindy had asked, where do we get a copy of our change request. Can you be a little bit more specific? Are you asking for a copy of the request that you're sending in?
Yeah, maybe I can take that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, so after any request is submitted via our help center, we send a confirmation email back out to the email address that's included in the form. We're actually in the process of updating those confirmation emails to include like all of the input fields that are submitted via the form. So you basically have sort of like a receipt of your request, but that's where you can expect that.
Awesome. Thank you, Allison. And Linda, no, we cannot see you right now. I'm going to pass this back to Claire. I think we have one more slide or a couple more slides. I apologize. Yes.
Awesome, thank you. Perfect. So one of the things that we are focusing on is constantly improving these request forms to make your experience as seamless as possible. So with your feedback, we can continue to improve these forms to make sure we're eliminating that unnecessary back and forth and saving you time. One form that we very recently updated is our cancellation request form. So whenever you need to request a cancellation, our form will automatically tell you exactly what we need to cancel a policy based on the cancellation effective date that you request. So for example here, if you type in a cancellation effective date into the form that is 1 to 30 days in the past, we will let you know in that form, in the left-hand screenshot over here, that will require a loss policy release form, and we have it available for you to download directly from this screen as well. If you type in a cancellation effective date of over 30 days in the past, our form will tell you that we still need that LPR plus proof of the reason for cancellation, since we're going over 30 days in the past. And that is what you're seeing on the right-hand side of this screen here. So for example, on this one, we said the reason for cancellation is business sold. So it'll request you to upload proof of the sale, such as the bill of sale confirming the exact sale date. And as we transition all of you and our broker base in general to using these forms for all requests that would normally be emailed, we'll be paying very close attention to the feedback that we get so we can continue to improve and make sure we are saving you that time with these forms and making sure that your requests are being processed as quickly and efficiently as possible. And I think our next slide is questions.
Yeah, so I'd like to just grab one of these questions from the Q&A. Bonnie asked, the most common thing I need is a quote review. Whoever, I think Steph, are you sharing your screen out right now? Could you just hop onto the Attune portal? I just want to show like the support button with the information on how to chat and call in really quick. So we have a really awesome team of broker success associates who are here to answer all your questions. Claire and I are both former BSAs. So if you have any questions, like for example, a quote review, that wouldn't necessarily be an endorsement or a change that you're looking to make. That's just like a general question if I'm interpreting your question correctly. So you just go to that bottom right-hand side where there's a little red support button. And if you click on it, that'll take you directly to our live chat. So then you could click in that little search bar. You could say like quote review, and then eventually you'll be able to chat in directly in real time with so many of our super helpful and knowledgeable BSAs, and they can take a look and see how they can help you out. You can also, Steph, if you go up to the right, it says contact us, and there's our phone number right there. Again, we have really awesome BSAs here 9 to 6 to answer all your questions Eastern. So you can give us a call there as well.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, Steph, if maybe you can answer this question from Paul. Will property insurance products soon have IRPM filings as well as workers' comp SC filings?
I'm actually not too sure. I can take that question back and get back to him.
Yeah, sure.
And I also wanted to add or piggyback on the quote review question. Aside from our support chat here, which is fantastic if you haven't used it already. The customer care line is available, but we can also do quote review right here. So if you choose quote and hit request quote review, you just have to have the quote number and account number, especially if something was declined. We run into this a couple of times with our broker base, where you will email your rep and ask us for the reason why a quote was declined. And you can absolutely use the help center for this, again, through the ticketing system, so that someone directly from our care team can give you that declination reason. And because most of the time as a rep, I don't know, I'm actually going to go search it for you, right? But the quickest way is to do it right here in the help center. As far as that question that we had, I'll take that away and we can get back in touch with the broker directly. Do we have any more questions on any type of requests that you may be using the help center for? Keeping in mind that, and I don't know if anyone knew that you can do some sorts of agency requests as well. You can reset your password in here. You can request portal credentials. You can update your agency information. You can do billing servicing in here as well, requesting invoices. You can request commission statements in here. You can get technical support. And then also on the insured account, you can request broker of record changes, or also review eligibility, especially when it comes to offices and LROs and stuff like that. I know when there's a building with several tenants, we're not sure if it qualifies. This is where you do that. Okay, just checking the Q&A. Do we have anything else?
There's a question in the chat here that I just want to make sure that I answer correctly. I might not pronounce your name correctly, so I apologize, but Kaoru has a question regarding a workers' comp claim. So for that, they would want to give employers a call or respond directly to whatever email they've received regarding a claim. Is that correct?
So for workers' comp, since we will handle most of the servicing on behalf of the broker here to contact employers, we'll try to get in touch with employers for them first, and then give them the information that they need regarding that situation. So for anything employers related or workers' comp related, reach out to your rep and they should be able to get in touch with our internal team on that workers' comp claim, and we'll give you the necessary steps to take. I think Diana asked turnaround time on quote review. Claire, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, sure. So for quote reviews specifically, everything we're getting via the help center request forms, we are giving a one business day SLA for when we start working on the request. A quote review, most likely you'll have a 24 to 48 hour turnaround time, but we will have someone working on it within one business day.
Nice. Okay, we have another question here regarding class codes for quoting MRI centers, or is it written as a medical office? This is a perfect question for Claire.
Oh, great. I think it's probably dependent on the type of policy that you're looking for. MRI centers, I do believe, are ineligible for our business owners policy at this time.
That's also something that you can chat in the support tab in the portal, which our team is excellent at searching and seeing which class code would best fit. It's always nice to also have a website handy so we can know how to best identify that business.
And just to shout out the underwriting guidelines that are on the screen right now. If you look kind of to the right underneath the contact us tab, if you wanted to just look through our guidelines, you can. Also, if you create a new account in the portal and you type in MRI center, it'll immediately let you know once you've entered in that business information, what products, what Attune products that class code is eligible for.
I'll take this one. Lesser's risk, can they be commercial or residential? We will not accept any residential exposure, unfortunately. And the follow-up question of nail salons, I believe they're classified under nail salon. Is that not? Yeah, okay. Let's see. Also, I'm more than happy to answer more questions about class codes. However, since we want to be very nice about everyone's time and making sure that we answer questions regarding about the help center specifically, the class codes that we can highlight, you're always welcome to chat about. Most of our reps have access to a site called Ask Kodiak, which should be pretty accurate as to whether or not we can accept that class code or not and what products we have for it. So as far as, do we have a class code for writing e-commerce business? I'm not actually too sure. Claire, do you know?
For our Bot Plus, we do, yes.
Okay.
Which you can find in our accredited guidelines right here on this support page.
Excellent. So depending on the state that you're in, that's where accredited would be available. So if you're in one of the major states like New York, California, then you wouldn't have access to that. But if you're in Texas, I'm not sure exactly which state you're in, and some of the Southeast states, or most of the Southeast anyway, you would have access to accredited, in which case we would have that. Yep, I believe Illinois is also a Bot Plus state. Okay, let's see. So do we need to contact Attune first? And your office will handle, is it correct? Should we contact employers after that to get the claim number? Come to us first regarding the issue. Come with the policy number if you have it, or the name of the insured. We'll search on our internal system, and then we'll get in contact with our internal workers' comp team, and then we'll give you the next steps.
Stephanie, Paul asked in the Q&A, where can we find the Ask Kodiak site? I think you said it's not in like work yet, but it will be. Is that correct?
So Ask Kodiak is a site that we use internally as a resource. Some brokerages actually have access to it already. It's just askkodiak.com. I can type it in the chat. You have to sign up to have access. Sometimes brokerages will message Attune directly and say, hey, is this really a class code that you can do? And some of us will get that notification. And you can also message other carriers as well.
Great, thanks, Steph.
Mhm.
And Paul, to answer your other question, we have webinars. We usually have around 2 a month, kind of depending. This month we only have 1 because of the holidays, so it just is kind of a chaotic month. But we have some other webinars coming up. We have some awesome new products in the works, so you'll get some invites to your inboxes soon for those webinars. So they're all available on demand. We have a lot of how-to videos on our YouTube channel, just youtube.com/Attune Insurance. So you can access those, and we'll be sending a recording of this webinar as well to all people who have registered.
Awesome. I think we've taken care of most of everyone. Let's see. Too many. Can we pick any other hours to chance to attend? Yeah, we can definitely gather feedback of what the best time would be. We want to make sure that we can get most folks all over, right? From a bunch of time zones. So we definitely value that feedback. Thank you.
Yeah, and there will be we'll be sending a survey as well to all attendees. So if you have any feedback, please fill out that survey. I personally read every survey response, so I will see it. So yeah, so I really appreciate that feedback, and please include it in that survey so that I can make sure that I have it in my notes. And in regards to it, we have 2 questions here, one about the new BOP program in Florida and one about Liberty Mutual. Again, please make sure that you're getting emails from us, because we will send all product updates to your emails. Our AMs like Stephanie and her squad will be making calls, informing everyone about new stuff that's coming down the pipe. So just keep an eye out. Sometimes our emails get sent to your spam folder, so just keep your eyes out and we will definitely keep you updated.
So a couple things. I don't want to leave Darlene hanging. For the new BOP program in Florida, we don't have an official launch date, but should be ready before end of year. So I want to make sure that that was responded to. And your account manager or your rep will actually update you sometime this week or next week about the details of that product. So stay tuned for that. And let's see. Want to make sure, were some of these like delayed? I feel like I just got 5 questions at once. Hold on. Okay.
I think some of them were like class code questions when we kind of got on that train.
I want to address you, Pendra, and I apologize if I did not pronounce that correctly. I've seen in some situations that you defer the issue directly to the carrier. What are those situations that Attune cannot handle without deferring to the carrier? Most of the situations that come up, we will try to pivot where it needs to go, but we will handle it internally first. Especially when it comes to employers. For Hiscox, however, we won't be handling that servicing because it's mainly handled by Hiscox directly. So that might be who you're referring to. As for other carriers that we work with, like Liberty and Neptune, we will handle some of that servicing up front prior to actually going to the carrier. So I think Hiscox is the only one. Elizabeth had mentioned, if I bind the building and the business, if the owner is a building owner and has a business, sells the building, can I keep just the business or I need to rewrite? Claire, do you know the answer to that?
So they sold the building, but they are still working out of the big building as the business. That should be fine as long as there's been no change in ownership. Just feel free to reach out to us, let us know. We would most likely just need to remove building coverage.
Awesome. Let's see. Kayoru, I'm sorry to not pronounce that correctly. The Kodiak question, the Ask Kodiak was just a website that I was directing some folks to if they wanted to see eligibility for a particular class code. I would double check with your rep prior to really going 100% on that website. Most of it is, I would say 95% accurate, but just to triple check, you go to your rep and make sure that it's a class code that we can still do. Do you have a market for GL within the home mobile park in California? So that would be through our Hiscox product. And we might, that's something I would have to look up, but feel free to use the chat feature even while we're here to find out if it is eligible.
I don't believe that we do residential for GL. I don't know if that's what they mean by home mobile park. Like trailer park. And then Pavan said, can we do standalone hotel umbrella? If I'm assuming that you mean like an excess policy, we currently don't offer excess as a standalone. You would have to you would have to write our bot product to get access to that excess product at this time.
We're not a market for hotels for BOP right now.
That too. Thank you.
Awesome. And smoke shops either, correct?
Correct.
Yes. Yeah, I noticed that, Suzanne. It looks like there is a delay in the Q&A. I think some folks are going back and forth between just the chat and the Q&A. Hopefully we're getting to all of them. We're trying. Sorry about that.
Someone said, is there an appetite / carrier for motels? I believe that the only thing we can write motel like staff is workers' comp. Correct me if I'm wrong, anyone? But I don't believe we can write the like motel buildings.
For motels, I believe it's only workers' comp.
And the recording of this call will be emailed out to all registrants and attendees later this week or at the latest on Monday of next week. So you can share it out to anyone that is on your agency or whatever that would like to view. Thanks, Paul. Paul said, who's better than this team? I mean, I would say no one, but that I'm a little biased.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, so I think once they're answered, they might is that what's going on there? I think the questions that are being asked, the audience can't actually see them.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Mhm. Okay, so we have.
That might just be if you're in your message the chat section, you can send the chat to hosts and panelists, or everyone, I believe.
Yeah, so I think that's why.
Yeah.
Got it.
But there in the recording, I will also send a copy of the chat as well, so folks can see those questions.
Awesome. And then Diana had asked if there was an hour of business limitations. If you're asking in regards to hours of business for our BOP, under our Blackboard policy, it would be no later than 1 a.m. And then under our accredited policy, it got bumped down to 12 a.m. So no businesses can be covered past 12 a.m. I hope that answers your question. Okay, I think we did really well there, cleaning up that Q&A box. Do we have anything else from anyone?
I would say, we can obviously give everyone 15 minutes of their time back, but I would say too, like if there's anyone that has any specific help center form that they want to see an example of, like we've got, about 15 minutes. So I don't want to volunteer Steph to do something, but, but if anyone has anything specific they'd like to really see.
Clearly the demo person here. It's all good.
Nayeli, you can just type your question in the chat or the Q&A and we will definitely get to you. All right, I'm gonna give, there we go. Is there a specific form for submitting exclusion waivers for workers' comp?
There is not.
Yeah, go ahead.
There is not, but that could be a good use of our other form, where if you just type in what you're looking for, you can submit it that way. Just make sure you're including that workers' comp policy number.
Yeah, so they would go to like policy and then other here, correct?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm sorry, that was directed just to panelists, so I'll just read it. The question was, is there a specific form for submitting exclusion waivers for workers' comp?
Awesome.
Dolores said, are the BOPs open in Florida? Sorry, just getting here, I'm assuming. We don't have a BOP product available in Florida yet, but we should have some updates for you on that, and hopefully a BOP product for you by the end of the year. So keep an eye on your emails and make sure that you have your sound on your phone on, and I'm sure your AM will give you a call.
Yes, don't send us to spam. We have very important emails coming out as things start to roll out on this side. And it's going to be an exciting time for Florida. It's coming soon. Just can't promise a date yet.
Yeah. Where did you find the check eligibility tab?
Sure. So in the Help Center, I'll just go back to this main screen, and you can either search it, which is super cool, eligibility, and it comes up right here, confirm eligibility. Or you can go to quote and then hit confirm eligibility. As you can tell, I've done it a lot, so I know exactly where it is. But yeah, it's really simple. The Help Center search bar is actually really helpful so that you don't have to actually go through all of these options here. You can just search for what you're looking for.
All right, I'm gonna give like 1 more minute for any last minute questions. And then we will wrap this baby up.
And I don't know if Paul is still on here. I will make sure that we get that answered for you either later today.
Yep, this recording will be sent to all registrants via email later this week, at the latest Monday of next week. Along with any people who attended, you'll be receiving a survey regarding, you know, how you thought this webinar went. We know you all think it was amazing, but in case you have any feedback, we're happy to hear about it. I personally read all of them. So, and Paul, there is not currently a place, but I personally am working on building that place right now. So there will be a place where you will be able to view all on-demand webinars. But if you have any questions about specific webinars that you want to know if we have, you can definitely reach out to our BSAs, and then I can look up what webinars we have and get those to you. Again, we have a YouTube channel. If you just search Attune Insurance, we have a bunch of how-to videos on YouTube as well.
This was great.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that we're good. I don't know if Steph, Claire, Allison, you have any last things to add before we?
No, I think everyone was amazing, and I think we did really well with this. We are going to have some future webinars to look out for. So I don't know if it's going to be our shining faces on the screen, but you'll definitely have some of our other team members take you through some of the new products and some of the things that are launching fairly soon. So
Thank you so much for all the questions.
yeah, no, that was good. Tested all my knowledge there.
All right. Well, thank you all for joining us. It was lovely to meet everyone. I hope that everyone has a great rest of your week and gets to have some of their favorite holiday foods you're talking about, because they were all sounded amazing.
Yes. Awesome. Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.